Recorded live with little or no editing. It's Defense Up. I'm your host, Run7. How you doing? So we've been experiencing some technical difficulties today. So if all of a sudden I start screaming at chat, "Where'd you go? Where'd you go?" It's because the internet service is getting pushed out. We've realized that there's a lot of forest fires where I live, and the service providers are moving things around. But I can still record the video. I just want to let you guys know why I get distracted, because I have trouble multitasking. Okay, on to bigger and better things. We're going over Locky's defense. Real quick, remember, your defense for war is the last thing you should be building. You should always be focusing on your raid teams, your arena teams for those cores, and then you trickle down to other stuff like war offense. Whatever you have left, that goes into your defense. And now that I'm done throwing myself under the bus, let's jump into it with team number 1. All right. Locky's running the Brotherhood 2.0 on defense. Now, here's where you want to run the Brotherhood on defense with Doom. Okay, you replace old Fire Pants here with Doom, and becomes a really stubborn and challenging war defense that a lot of people need to use weird stuff to get into, like a Hydra 3.0 kind of team, something like that. Otherwise, I think this should still be reserved for offense, especially at the mid game. You're going to come across a lot of defenses that you could use this against. It's not too stubborn a team to beat. Like, you can punch way up into it, especially if you take in like one player, one toon, and lose to it, and then you can just double tap this team. That's a waste of an energy thing, but at the mid-game level, sometimes that's just the simplest thing to do, so you're not wasting good teams on this. Because right now we have more energy than we have teams that we can put our resources into. All right. So, but if you're going to run this on defense, let's just go ahead and take a look at it. You got healers on your tanks. You got Raider on Magneto, Raider on Pyro, and Striker on Toad. I like Toad as a skirmisher because he's trying to remove buffs and he kind of needs like a focus boost and stuff. So skirmisher, I think, is the way to go. Now that they've opened up the floodgates on green ISOs, you could take him to ISO level 5 skirmisher, and he would be very, very effective on this team. However, I think this team in general, whether it be offense or defense, is a ways down the road to be working on. Either way, skirmisher is the way to go, placing out more of those vulnerables to work off of. And yeah, I think that's about it. Otherwise, I think you're doing pretty good. I like your placement. You could put Blob more in the middle, giving deflects to other people, because he's giving deflects to adjacent people, so maybe swap him and Pyro would be a good idea. And then Black Widow, and then Hawkeye's going to be on the end. So change that placement. Your power level's pretty good. Hulk and Captain America need to be the strongest on this team, so that's good. You need to replace Iron Man with Thor. You're not going to be using the Wave War, excuse me. You're not going to be using Asgardians on defense. So Thor goes here now. Iron Man on this team is garbage. Iron Man in general is just garbage, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Pank. He's just garbage, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's okay. All right, Thor's a Raider, by the way. Use Thor as a Raider. He's getting splash damage, AoEs, and stuff like that. Don't put him as a Striker, but he puts him as a Striker for the extra damage. Give him the Raider thing so we can get some of those vulnerables out there. All right. Next up. Oh, you want a grade on this? I'm going to give you a C. This is pretty meh right here. Placement's off, and you got to swap out Thor because this team ain't doing anything. All right. Kree team. I don't like the Kree team. I think it's garbage. I think Oracle on this team isn't doing anything for you. You're trying to give it some sustainability. It's already got a good healer in here. Oracle isn't doing he's doing nothing. Get I don't know, get like Korath the Pursuer in here because he's fast and he throws out that ability block every once in a while if it actually lands, and that can screw some people up. I do like the tank, but your tank should be on the end. Captain Marvel's pretty beefy. Pretty beefy. Unfortunately, she's power crept all to hell. Yeah, I mean, if you're just throwing excess tunes on this team because you got these people left over and you're just making a team, okay, you're just making a defense out of something you're not using on offense. I like Minerva on the Emmarauders team. She provides a little bit. She makes it a little bit more tricky for the Shadowlands to get in there and get it done. And I kind of think you overinvest in Captain Marvel, but that horse already left the barn. Otherwise, I mean, it's okay. The biggest thing, and I mean, everybody's kind of screaming this right now, you don't have ISOs on 3 of your tunes. There's no excuse to not have level 1 ISO on every tune in your roster. It's going to improve your blitz scores. It's going to make everything work a little bit better. It costs you almost nothing. So get ISOs on everybody. I think Ronin's a raider. This guy's probably going to be a fortifier simply because he's at low power and you don't want to invest in him. So you put fortifier on there to make up the difference. It's a cheap way to fix that. Oracle's, of course, a healer, but you're going to replace Oracle with somebody else like Korath the Pursuer. Yeah, I'm going to give you a D for this team. It's nothing, and I think you're kind of wasting Minerva with it. Missing the ISOs, placements off, the wrong people, power levels are all wonky. It's kind of a mess. Yeah, that's a D. Here we go. Mercs. It's a straight-up Merc team. It's not stopping anybody. The problem with the Mercs is that they all have to be at a certain power level or above so that you can fend off certain teams and reduce what the enemy can use to come into it. Basically, if your Merc team is at 450k and above and they're all at the same power level or higher, then you can't use X-Force on them anymore. They've just kind of scaled out past it. I mean, you could probably still use it, but basically you're going to have to come in there with like a Zemo team or a Skilletary team or something like that. So at this low power level, it's gross. Whatever. It's not doing anything. The other thing, your placement's off on this. You want to go Taskmaster, Lieutenant, then Riot Guard, then probably Bullseye, and then you're going to go with Killmonger as your 5th, because unless you're building Skilletary, then you can use Killmonger on the Skilletary, but I like him here. I like Black Widow on the Skilletary team. So the thing is, with these like low power levels, like a really small X-Force can come in and just blow this team away. You can come in with a 100k X-Force team and probably beat this. Yeah, this ain't doing anything for you. Also, you don't have any ISOs again. You're going to want Skirmisher on Taskmaster. You can put Striker on everybody else. If you want to run the Shuri Killmonger version, then everybody gets Striker except for Shuri. She's a healer. If you're going to run this version, I think everybody gets Striker except maybe Lieutenant could be a healer. I even kind of like just doing straight Skirmisher on everybody, or I mean, Striker on everybody and Skirmisher on Taskmaster, so that you're maximizing the damage potential with your best character on this team, which is Taskmaster. Get the stars on him. Get the correct ISO, so Skirmisher, Striker on everybody else. Get the proper placement. Use the proper tunes. I mean, you can use these guys. They'll work, but you're not using the Skirmisher Striker combo, so it's pointless. Yeah, I don't dig it. I don't dig this one at all. This is another D. You could be doing a lot better with this. And without hardly investing any more. Swap out some tunes. You've probably got those other tunes I talked about built up. Swap them out. This team's, you're going to start getting something. At the very least, you'll see the enemy using important teams to take this out. Teams that they could be using elsewhere. Right now, they're coming in with just their overbuilt garbage that they don't need anywhere else to wipe this out. Oh my god, Wakandins. Get these off my screen. Wakandins suck, man. They're like the worst team in the whole game. I'd probably be happier if I came across Hand right here. This is garbage. See here, this Shuri, she goes on your Merc team. She's amazing. This guy right here, he goes on your Merc team. They're amazing. Put them over there, and you got yourself something to play with. These three are garbage. Of course, you've got ISOs on this team, which is just an absolute travesty of a team. I don't like this. Everybody, Like, these guys don't beat anything. The computer doesn't play them right. Not that there is a good way to play them. This is horrible. I think this is a waste of resources. This is a waste of defense. Your placement's okay. I'll give you that. You got the right ISOs on here. I'll give you that. But otherwise, I mean, this is like a F+, because of the resource wasted. I would rather see you use these two over on your Merc team and place shield guards in place of this. And I mean, I know you got 7 red stars on Black Panther, but Black Panther is just a garbage tune. High red stars on a character don't make a character good, okay? So don't do that where, oh, your first 7 red, you're going to max out. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's just a bunch of internet hype. Play this game to its fullest potential. Look, if you enjoy Black Panther, if you like that character and you want to play as that character, I don't know why you put him on defense, but if you want to use this character, by all means, do what allows you to have fun playing this game. But if you're going for performance, man, forget this team. All right. Team number 6 is Hydra 1.0. There's nothing wrong with this. You should just be putting Zemo on here. Zemo makes this team. Zemo in place of Scientist makes this team 10 times better. And so I think you should definitely do that. Let's see, what else could you do? You could probably put ISOs on these people. There's a thing to do. Go all healer or all fortifier, doesn't matter. I kind of like doing the fortifier on Red Skull. That way, when people come into this, like I would come into this with my powered armor. I got like a 300k power armor, nothing special. I'd come in with that and punch down, because what else am I going to use power armor for? With fortifier on this guy, like even if you don't invest any more into these guys, but you build him up a little bit more and put fortifier on him, suddenly it becomes really tricky, because if I don't kill him before that defense down falls off, well, then I'm faced with clearing out all these guys, and it becomes a useless attempt at bringing in powered armor. So I kind of like fortifier on this. I like your tune selection. Just replace this guy with Zemo if you want to run this team. It'll function a lot better. Get ISOs on all of them. Doesn't really matter which ones. You just look at their kits and say, oh, is there something special about their basic where it like clears or adds something special? Then they're a striker. If they're a healer, then make them a healer, which, you know, this guy's a healer. That's it. Otherwise, you're going to go with like a range of, you know, skirmisher, raider for trooper there. He sprays around a lot and stuff like that. You go healer on your tank, something like that. I don't know. This team's ISOs doesn't really matter. It's all about that revive mechanic. You throw in Zemo over here, and then suddenly you got to come into this with like another Zemo or something. It becomes tricky when you add Zemo to this team. That's my personal opinion. As is, you're getting a D for this because you got no ISOs on it. You can be ranking up these characters. They're all farmable, fairly easy to farm. And you know what? Even though this team isn't like a great defensive team or something, when you get them up to like 200, 300k in the mid game, it requires a response. Usually like a Black Bolt or somebody who's you come in with a surfer to strip the charges off of Red Skull, something like that. It requires a response at those higher levels. So you're close enough with this team that you should go ahead and build them up, bring them up to like 300k, get the ISOs on them, swap this guy out for Zemo, and you're going to be absorbing some really good offenses and helping your alliance out. Team number 7 is the Asgardians. As I said earlier, we should not be using Asgardians. Symbiotes roll over this team. Axemen roll over this team. Like X-Force destroys this team. You got tons of stuff. They're gone. So use Hela on the Supernatural team for offense against those Wave 1 Avengers. That works great. Use Thor on your Wave 1 Avengers. You could also consider subbing Sif into the Wave 1 Avengers in place of like Black Widow or Hawkeye if you're using Black Widow on the Skeleton team. Heimdall's useless. Loki's basically useless too. Loki's a fun character to play with, and I kind of like saving him for offense because every once in a while you need to put that defense down on somebody quick to go in, burst them down. So that's where he should be used as offense, as a plug-and-play kind of character, but he's not even that great. If you're going to be running this team as is, and again, you should not be running this team as is, Raider, Striker. I think Raider for Heimdall should be what he is. Healer for Sif is fine. Striker Skirmisher combo from those, that's great, because with the 5, he sets the taunt, she goes into it, then she's going to double tap it, whatever. So, okay, you got your ISOs pretty close. Like I said, I like Raider on Heimdall. Otherwise, I really hate seeing this whole team on defense. This is just a free win for your opponents. Get rid of them, break them up, use them where they're supposed to be used. I'm giving you a D for that. And last and not least, you got the Emmarauders. Okay, your placement's screwed up. You need to go... Oh, wow, this is really screwy. Okay, from left to right, you want to go Strife, then Sabretooth, then Mystique, then Sinister, then Emma. Fortifier on Strife is correct. You want Raider on Sabretooth. Skirmisher on Mystique is correct. Healers on the other two is correct. So basically just change Sabretooth to a Raider. You can consider swapping out those two characters with somebody like Magneto. If you don't have a Brotherhood team built, but you do have Magneto, you could put him in here. It makes it very stubborn. I prefer running the Doom Brotherhood defense entirely rather than taking Magneto. Because you take Magneto off that team and you just ruined the team. But swap Sabretooth out with Minerva. Swap Mystique out with Ghost or something like that. Makes this team a little bit more formidable. These two just aren't really doing anything for the team, and you've got some other plug-and-play characters that come in here and work a bit better. Yeah, so bring up the power level on Strife. He's going to really help protect against everybody except for the new counters for this team. Like, Shadowlands counters this team a lot, but still, you know, bringing up Strife and making him tougher helps a lot. Having Minerva in here helps against the both X-Factor team and Shadowlands team. So there's a lot of things you can do to improve this. Placement for sure. That really bothers me that Strife's kind of in the middle. Not that it should. I mean, geez, in today's counters, it's such specific targeting anymore that it doesn't, the placement's not such a big deal. At least he doesn't have some sort of adjacent buff pass out thing. All right, I'm okay with this. It's like a C+. It's nothing special. You're getting pretty close. At least you got some ISOs going on these guys. You got level 5 ISO healers here. That's pretty good. Yeah, it is what it is. Overall, I just think you're using old defenses. You know, this is old, needs to be broke up. This needs to be updated with Zemo. This needs to be taken out completely. Take those two characters and put them over here on your Mercs team, which needs to be updated. This is a relic, man. This is a relic. Probably just get rid of it. Put Minerva over on your Emmarauders. Here's the wave 1. You need Thor in here. And then here's your Brotherhood team, which should probably just be used on offense. So that's the overview. You know, do what you want. Let me know if those changes helped. For those of you watching this on YouTube, let me know if you've got better ideas. This war playing field changes constantly, and I do like to theorycraft about this stuff. So leave some comments on what you think was a good idea, a bad idea, or if you just think I sound like a total idiot talking out of my ass. That's fun too. I'll take the comments. I don't care. Like, subscribe, all the usual stuff. I'll see you guys next time. Remember, don't just have a good game. Be good to yourself and others too. Thanks. Bye.